A beginning is a very delicate time. Know then that it is the year 2024. The known universe is ruled by the power of technology and flight simulation. In this time, the most thrilling experience in the universe of Microsoft Flight Simulator. The simulator extends imagination. The simulator expands horizon. The simulator is vital to adventure. The PC and its controllers, who the simulator has enchanted over many years, use advanced graphics, which give them the ability to fly anywhere, that is, to travel to any part in the world with moving. Oh, yes, I forgot to tell you. The simulator has a new expansion on only one planet in the entire universe, a barren, arid planet with vast dunes and large oceans. Hidden away within the sands and different types of terrains and, taiga and stuff, are a craft known as the Ornithopter, a nimble flying machine propelled by precisely tuned oscillating wings. The Royal Atreides Ornithopter is an ultra-performance variant of the craft, renowned for its lightning acceleration, blazing speeds, precision maneuverability, when under the control of pilots skilled in its operation, and who have the courage to survive the harsh extremities and unlabeled buttons. The planet is Earth, also known as Terra, where we live. Hello everyone. Today's video, we're going to be taking a look at this brand new expansion that came out, by the way, Dave Lynch's Dune. Great little expansion that came out. Very neat aircraft. It's different, and we'll talk a little bit about it. We're here, of course, just on the border of Jordan, because we're going to the Wadi Rum, which is right over there on the right. This is going to be good for us. This is a new bug that Flight Sim decided to introduce in the last patch. We'll deal with that later, though. So this thing is cool. Not only is it ripped right out of the movies, it is fast, it is capable, and it's surprisingly challenging, which I thought was interesting. But enough chat, let's get this thing going. So what we have here is a bunch of unlabeled buttons. My Dune-ish is not very strong, but the good news is the little labels that tell you what to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by starting these three switches here. This is going to be our battery, our fuel valve, and our alternator. We're going to leave avionics off because the Royal Harkonnen Avionics conglomerate says we can't turn them on at risk of damaging things. The other item we're going to have here is an engine start and a wings unfold. One of the interesting things here is we do have the ability to fold the wings in flight, and we'll demonstrate that for you because it is downright dangerous. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unfold the wings. That's intimidating. And I'm going to go ahead and press the engine start button. Now, the cool thing is when the engine gets started, while this is going, of course, I'm going to come right down here, close this up. Go ahead and we don't have any special lights. We have the little landing lights, and this is just so satisfying. By the way, make sure your throttle's at idle when you do this. Ow, 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 ow. But you can see this thing has gotten going. Not too much difficulty here. Now, some of you, of course, are wondering about the big old door in the back. That's actually connected to our landing gear, but we'll deal with that when we get in the air. So how does this thing work? Basically, you have your power control on this side. You'll notice here that it's kind of a left and right motion here to control it. You'll also notice we have a couple different buttons here that gives us some fun little things, including a dive mode, which basically folds the wings back and allows you to go down pretty darn fast, and we'll demonstrate that for you. We also, of course, have a glider mode, which lets you just kind of sort of hang out. I actually really like glider mode. It's probably my preferred save gas method. We also have the ability to stop the wings in a hurry, and of course we have booster mode, which will, this thing's fast enough. It doesn't need any help as far as that goes. So anyway, let's go ahead and start by getting this thing in the air. Getting this thing in the air, it's unlike anything I think I've flown recently. Basically, it's a really twitchy helicopter until the thing starts getting safe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cyclic. There's no torque issues, by the way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently crank up the power. Now, I'm not going to do anything special here with my controls. I'm just going to slowly apply power. That was kind of the first mistake I learned when I was playing this, is because my brain expected this to be a helicopter. And you can see once we get a couple feet in the air, I'm just going to let it kind of settle. I have not touched my cyclic, by the way, and you've noticed my hand's off that. I'm going to go ahead and retract the landing gear. And now we're ready to rock. So once the landing gear is retracted, getting this thing to go is relatively simple. We're just going to tip it in the direction we want to travel. I notice my stability systems there are a little kind of janky. That is kind of the fun. All I'm doing is giving it just a little bit of cyclic, and I'm slowly back increasing the power here. Now, once this thing goes forward, you'll notice as I increase power, it accelerates very rapidly. You will easily get 500 knots with this thing. It does not take any effort. And you can see that I'm at full throttle right now, and it just goes. Like I said, this thing is unlike anything I've ever operated before. One thing I did forget to do is hit the avionics master. As you can observe from the avionics, they look confusing, but they're actually pretty logical. This guy right here is going to be our vertical speed. You can see that that's going to basically show what they were trying to do. Now, if I let go, see how this is stable? This tells us we're more or less not changing. This guy right here is our heading. We can actually set the heading bug if we want. It's very hard to read. And of course, so we have the lower gauges as well, which is going to give us a good idea of what our current speed is. So I'm going to go ahead and proceed a little bit to the east here, tearing across the wind, these lovely mountains here. I'm going to get a little bit of altitude. Again, I'm at full throttle. No engine limitations that we know of as far as that that we know of. This thing's a fictional craft, so naturally it's going to have some different kind of quirks to it. Go climb the back seat. We've got worm sign. We've got worm sign. No, something along those lines. Again, I always say when I think of Dune, it's I've read all the books, seen all the movies. I have plenty of opinions on the Funny Hats version, of course, the 1984 version, and all that other good stuff. And it's all great as far as I'm concerned. It's a really unique universe, and one of my favorite things as a kid was, of course, Dune 2. I also had a lot of fun playing Emperor Battle for Dune. Dune 2000, for those of you who remember that one. I never played that goofy one from the Sci-Fi Channel. But now that we've got a little bit of altitude, let's go ahead and take a look at our different modes. The first mode we're going to take a look at is what they call dive mode. I love this. Watch this. Going down. Woohoo! Pause. Now you'll notice I can't push that button. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the game for a second so I can put everybody out. And we're going to go full power and take back off again. So one of the challenges there is making sure you bind a button for dive mode so that you can quickly engage that for the purpose of doing that. I appreciate the quiet. I don't appreciate the fact that you don't have a lot of controllability in that particular mode. So that's kind of fun. Another thing you can do, by the way, is if you take your head and you move it down a little bit, it makes it much easier to get to our buttons. So I'm going to go ahead and press booster mode now. And what booster mode would do, if you remember from the new movie here, of course, this is going to give us a little bit of a kick to power. It's not substantial. Like, you're going to get going, but you're not going to be going too fast. And one of the things I love here is you can see this thing slowly cranking up as our altitude increases. Go ahead and pop off booster mode. Like I said, nothing too special there. The next one, which is a lot of fun, is glider mode. So, how's everybody doing today? Having a good day? This is the Wide I Roam, by the way. If you haven't been here in Flight Sim, you're missing out. This is literally where Mars is on Earth. One thing to note is when you're in glider mode, you've got that really incessant wind in your ears, depending on your airspeed. And of course, without any really accurate documentation as far as glides and stuff, you just kind of have to sort of look out the window and feel. But I do find this very easy to control in this particular mode. Like I said, it's really good for saving some of those combustibles. Let's go ahead and disengage our glider mode there. And we're going to kick this thing back on. Now, probably the hardest thing about this particular Ornithopter here is getting it back down on the ground. That's kind of one of the fun challenges you'll have to deal with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'll lose a little bit of altitude here. Yes, this thing operates in every direction. I don't feel like you're going to rip a wing off or anything. There's very little wing to rip off here. And again, if you don't want to pop the glide mode, which is incredibly entertaining to do, you can always just kind of put us on a conventional dive here, and I get a little bit of drop. All right, we're going to swing in here. And again, we have plenty of power. This thing is helicopter-esque. So if you have speed and you pull back and you have, like I said, speed, you'll have no difficulty for the purposes of basically staying stable here. So what I'm going to do is I got my power level all the way back right now, and I'm just going to slowly start coming down in speed. Again, we don't have any numbers to work from, so this is truly a VFR craft. Once you start feeling a little slow, you're going to know you're getting slow because you're going to notice your nose is going to rise up kind of towards the edge of the horizon. Start bringing in the power one more time. And go ahead and drop your landing gear. And bring your power to about half. Whoa! I almost didn't catch it that time. One of the downsides is the stability system will fight you, but basically what you're trying to do is make it a conventional helicopter landing here. Like I said, the stability system is pretty good. If you let go, it's going to kind of wander. Most of your work is going to be with your feet, and if you have any sort of wind, it's going to have a tendency to kind of wander away on you. But basically what you're trying to do is fight the stability system and reduce power kind of slowly at the same time. And when the two, of course, come together, go ahead and give it a quick little nudge forward. It's going to settle down on its own. Oh, and we are here, just like that. When you do that, of course, now that we're here, I can go ahead and slow this thing down. You got your engine stop button, and of course, we have the handy-dandy wings brake button located down here at the bottom. You click on that, and basically it's a press and hold, so you kind of crank on that thing. And you can see everything is slowing down just like that. Delightful. Now, if you're curious as far as range and stuff like that goes, like I said, you can get up probably about 500 knots or so with this particular one. One thing you want to keep in mind is that we burnt through about 2% of our fuel there. So if you want a kind of a relative term, we traveled about 20 miles. I mean, if you could do the math faster there, it's about 10 miles, 10 times 100. You're going to get about 1,000 nautical miles out of this thing, which is really, really impressive. And that was at full throttle the whole time. Naturally, kind of gliding and diving, you're going to preserve a little bit of that energy to save you a little bit of extra distance. But other than that, this is free on the Microsoft Marketplace. Highly recommend playing with it. The stability is a little weird at low speeds, especially if you have any kind of real wind going on. And of course, you'll want to bind buttons to those fancy controls down here. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of a pain in the butt to be able to safely get through all those components. But what a wild aircraft. And like I said, for those of you who are VR folks, you're going to love how fast this thing is in places like this. Enjoy.